Hey, Shane,
Yeah.
have you ever heard of the movie The Faculty?
No.
Well, have you seen it?
I have now. Well.
Hey, a weird 90s movie we watched.
Yeah.
I think this movie has a cult following. I don't exactly
Yeah.
know if I'd call it a cult movie. Like
I think so.
it's definitely a little on the underground side.
Yeah.
Especially for how stacked that cast would become later.
I can't remember where I've heard of it, but somebody put it on a list of movies you should watch that, you know what I mean? From this era.
Yeah.
I can't remember who said it. I can't remember where I found, but then that made me interested in watching it for a very long time. It's been on my radar ever since watching it on that list. And so when talking about what we wanted to do, I was like, man, I don't remember if I brought it up first or you brought it up first.
Well, you were just looking through my movies and you're like, I really want to watch The Faculty. And I was like, fuck it, let's do it. I love that movie.
So fuck it. Let's do it. We did it.
And so now we watched it, and it's the movie is, it really is shocking that it's not more popular. I understand why it's not like a Scream. I totally get that. Scream, I compare it to specifically for a lot of reasons that we'll talk about, but
I understand why it wasn't a box office smash.
Yeah.
I don't understand why it isn't more popular now.
Yeah. Yes.
It has all the makings of a cult classic.
Yeah,
and it is kind of, but none of the do they do? I don't know if this feels like it should be playing every October at Alamo.
I agree.
It's got Alamo written all over.
And it hasn't. The last 2 years, it hasn't been one of their lineup, and it should be one of their lineup. It's
when you say the last 2 years, it's because it was 3 years ago, or just because you've been going to Alamo the past 2 years.
I've just been going to the Alamo.
Okay, all right.
The last,
I was wait, did they do it?
No,
before?
the last 2 years where I've very much been following this shit.
Yeah.
It is a fascinating movie because of, and I think this is the first thing we'll talk about, it is a Scream ripoff. And what I mean that in the nicest terms possible. Kevin Williamson literally wrote it.
Produced by the same company.
But the reason I call it a Scream ripoff is because it was only made because of the success of Scream.
Yeah.
They were and this happens every time a movie blows up in a way that's unexpected. It's the next thing, we have to put out 10 of them.
Yeah.
And so this movie was created beginning to end in the wake of Scream's success. They were desperate for another one like it.
Yeah.
So they are similar feeling movies in large part because Kevin Williamson wrote them both.
Yeah.
But they just are high school oriented horror movies that are send ups of specific subgenres within horror. That's what they are.
Is this a horror movie?
It's technically, I would say,
It's
because it has some body horror shit in it.
Okay, it's got some gross out stuff for sure.
Yeah, the all the stuff with the stuff crawling under their skin and the creature design, which is really good. I think
really good. I agree. It's so funny because it is so similar and yet so completely different from Scream.
I know,
in so many ways. That's the thing I thought was really interesting about it. Both Kevin Williamson, both Dimension Films, very much supposed to be another Scream. I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be another one.
Yep.
And it just isn't.
Yeah.
But it is. You know
No,
what I mean? It's really interesting.
it should have been. So let's just throw out the box office really quick.
Throw it out.
Budget estimated 15.
Yeah.
Opening weekend, which was December 27th, 1998. Opening weekend, 11 million.
Oof.
Which look, don't get me wrong, some of these movies grow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gross US and Canada was 40, and then gross worldwide was that number too. I don't even know if it had a real overseas release. So budget estimated 15, gross 40 and some change.
Yeah.
So look, it wasn't a hard stop financial failure, but it was not a financial success by any means. It maybe profited a little bit.
Did it because the profitability margin is the budget plus or times 2.
Yeah.
So it's I don't think it made back its marketing.
Well, the marketing. So if it's 15, 30, and then
I can't count.
No, yeah. It's
That was
like
just-
here's the thing.
Don't listen to me. I'm stupid. I'm so stupid.
No, you're not.
I'm dumb.
And it's loose, right? The times two is
Yeah.
like a more of a loose metric.
sure.
It probably profited like $2 million, which
Yeah.
for a movie like is not worth it. You know,
No.
they're wanting to double their money.
Not with like a bunch of people that either like a bunch of like B-list, C-list. Oh,
Yeah.
it's that guy.
Yeah.
And then also like a bunch of up and coming, like
Yes.
hopeful to make like absolute stars out of these people.
Yeah, like-
and that check was cashed.
Yeah.
because almost all of these people like became like stars in their own right, or like just like absolutely famous for
Became
other-
that guys.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Josh Hartnett is a that guy. A little less now, but because he had that big resurgence in 2022
Yeah, but he also
or 2023,
had,
2024.
He also had like 4 years where he was in every movie.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's not.
But then he
not
just
good.
vanished.
And
Like
then
he
he
was
just
like, he's like, I'm done with Hollywood for a
Yeah.
while, and then he came back to do some really weird and
king
cool
shit.
projects. I love.
King shit.
I want to dive into. Patrick Willems has a podcast.
Yeah, I Heart Hartnett.
I Heart Hartnett, which apparently Josh Hartnett is aware of. He
love.
found out, that's fun. But I like a guy who does that, who's just
Yeah.
like, I did what I wanted to do, and then found other stuff he wanted to do.
Yeah.
Because Trap is a really weird kind of cool
Yeah.
movie. Anyway, that is the fascinating part about this movie is that they wanted to because how big was Matthew Lillard and Skeet Ulrich and Nev Campbell when Scream came out? There's similar
I
situation.
think similar. Like I obviously that by far the biggest stars were like Henry Winkler
Yeah.
and Drew Barrymore.
Yeah,
Like by far the biggest stars in that movie. Like I'm trying to think if there's anybody else that would be recognizable, but I don't think so.
No, not
Like, yeah,
not to the degree that like you package a movie around, you know.
Yeah, truly.
Which makes this one a really interesting one. I would be fascinated to know how they marketed it. Like I haven't watched
Yeah.
the trailer, but like the poster has the probably the most famous poster has Josh Hartnett up front, which I'm sure at the time was a thing, and then Usher right
Yeah.
behind him. And you're like, Usher's barely in this movie.
Yeah.
Was he blowing up at the time or something?
Baby, absolute
Yeah.
baby Usher. Like
It feels also like a tough one to market because you have to hide the secret of what the movie is.
Yeah.
And also make it seem cool.
yeah.
And like kind of a paranoia type movie, but without revealing anything. It feels like you can't show so much of your third act.
I mean, like it is from the studio that brought you Scream, not a slasher movie.
Yeah,
this
yep.
is not a slasher movie. So it's like from that perspective, I understand why it was not like a flop, but like
No.
didn't make a bunch of money because like it's Kevin Williamson doing not Scream,
Yeah,
and everybody wanted it to be
doing
Scream.
not Scream in his style. You know what I
Right.
mean? Which is like, by the way, great style. I love
Right.
Kevin Williamson's shit. Like he writes these kind of like send up commentary. Now this one's less commentary than,
Yeah.
but it deals with them like knowing the tropes of the genre,
which is
it-
like
it
one of my
uses that.
least favorite parts of the movie.
I can agree with that. I like earlier in the movie when they're kind of talking about, well, it's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which is a rip. Like that part I don't mind as much. It's whenever they start using those books to find the plot where I'm like, didn't work, didn't quite work.
Yeah, it isn't. And I mean this in not the disrespectful way it's going to sound, but it isn't smart enough. The movie
No,
isn't smart
no.
enough to use that in the way that it does in like Scream 1,
Yes.
Scream 2, I mean Scream 3 to a certain extent. Like,
Yeah.
Like that those movies are such perfect.
Yeah.
Has such perfect commentary where this is just like opens up book.
Well,
on page 304.
And also the invasion of the body snatchers, which is what this movie is a
Spoiler
body
alert.
snatcher movie. Spoiler. Fuck
Spoiler
you. This
alert
came
for
out in
a 30-year-old
1998.
movie.
Yeah. That you've never heard of.
Yeah.
It's a much less mind genre. Like it never went through that phase where they made a million of them and then everyone got tired of it, so it became easily commentable. Now there's been a lot of body snatcher
I was
movies,
gonna
but
say, there have been, you know what I mean, like every 20 years we get.
but
a
every
new
20
one.
years versus if you look at the slasher genre,
Oh, yeah.
when you hit 80s, they made like 50 of them
True.
in 10 years, and everyone's like, I can't do it anymore. I need these to end. And then Scream came out and kind of revitalized it in a
Yeah.
cool way. So it's just they're just different. Like it's hard. Like if you wanted to do this on like Ghost movie. Like if this
Yeah.
was a ghost story in your comedy, it would be much easier to do the commentary shit.
True.
So doing the commentary shit is just a weird choice for a body snatcher movie.
Right, which was like, hey, you're Kevin Williamson, do the Kevin Williams
Yeah, do your
shit.
thing,
It's
and
like, yeah, do the thing, and it's just like, Yeah, it just doesn't. It isn't mined for nearly as much, so it's just like, okay, then why add it?
It's just a part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're just like, yeah, okay, because
Yeah.
that's not what that's what Scream is. It's not what this is, and so
Right.
you're right. It has this like tacked on kind of like, here
Yeah,
it is.
there's like some of that kind of stuff of like where there feels like there's like studio mandate decisions that doesn't really take away from how much this movie still fucks.
Yeah.
Like this movie still rules, but there's like, again, like I could see why it wasn't a box office smash, but I'm still surprised with like in our current year it not being a like, I don't know, like Shaun of the Dead level cult classic. You know what I mean? Like maybe not Shaun of the Dead level. Shaun of the Dead is a better movie, but like
but like that type of movie where everyone's like, have you heard of this one?
Yeah,
like, because I still meet people who don't know what Shaun of the Dead is, even though it's one of the most popular movies fucking ever.
yeah, like I'm trying to think of like other like cult classics that aren't like that
look,
good.
if this movie had come out in the 80s, I feel like it would have been one of those VHSs that got passed around where I was like, you haven't seen The Faculty? Oh, dude, here's my copy. Go check it out.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the original Body Snatchers to today. You know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
it was like, that's a good movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's not perfect. You know what I mean? But like, it's still a good movie.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the 78 one is like more popular by today's standards.
For sure. And the 78 one's probably like a better movie.
Yeah.
I think for me, I love the throwbacky of the 50s one. Like
It's
just
very 50s.
It's got that like vibe and vintage kind of Twilight Zone-esque kind of thing
very
going for
Red
it.
Scare.
Yeah, which is like I'm just into the bigness of it,
Yeah.
and then the actual like filmmaking and shit of the 78 one's unreal. It's great.
It's so much weirder.
Yeah.
That's what I think that's what I'm drawn to with the 78. Anyways, I don't know how we're getting.
Yeah,
but like,
we're talking about body snatcher movies.
But I am not surprised this movie wasn't a box office smash. But at the same time, like I am surprised it's not more popular than it is.
Oh, for sure.
Now.
Yeah, and then I guess like the next thing I want to ask is experientially, is the questions I usually ask. At what point did you go, oh, it's a body snatcher movie? Like how quickly did you catch on?
Pretty quick, but like I mean, like by the time the old lady turns and kills the principal, you know.
Oh yeah, so the opening sequence. Yeah.
Like pretty quick, I think. Well, you know what? Maybe not. I don't know. Like it was early. But,
Yeah, because it definitely like it. I think the thing it buries a little bit more and plays more with, which is a smart move in my opinion, is which of our core cast is turned.
Yeah.
When are they? That's where it spends its mystery time.
Yeah.
Now, like I knew going in, so I didn't have that experience of being like, well, what's going on? You know, I knew it was a body snatcher movie.
Yeah.
So I was curious about that because I know like the coach turning at the beginning, you're like, there's two options really. It could be of some kind of like possession type movie, which is a little what I think they're trying to play off of for that opening scene.
Yeah.
And then that's the reveal where you're like, oh no, it's not that.
Yeah.
Or is the faculty just evil?
Yeah.
Because like the cool surprise is when the principal walks around and she's still alive.
Yeah.
Because up till that point, you haven't seen anyone die and come back yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I honestly love that moment. I love how they play it where she like walks around the corner and it's a great moment.
Good
it's
shit.
like really good shit.
Yeah.
And then Salma Hayek like walks out and is standing with the rest of them and you're like, oh, it's a body snatcher movie. Like,
Yeah.
I got it. It's
Yeah.
rad fucking, honestly good. Like Robert Rodriguez is a filmmaker of excess. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like this feels like a pretty tame movie for him.
This was before he went insane.
Oh
Like-
yeah.
This was right after From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
And before any of the, you know what I mean? Like
This is his first like studio picture, right? Like real studio picture.
Yeah, I don't know how studio From Dusk Till Dawn was.
Like it was definitely produced by people and like had.
I'm pretty sure that it was a Dimensions
Mm-hmm.
Films product. It wasn't you know, like what was his first one with the gunslinger? He's got the
Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Was that before this?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Give me a sec. Keep talking. Robert Rodriguez.
But yeah, like this was before he got into his like absolute insanity with like the Spy Kids movies and like
Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Okay, 2003. El Mariachi.
El Mariachi. Okay, I wanted to say Mariachi,
Yes, you
but
were
I didn't
right.
think
You
I
were
was
right.
right. I wanted to say like Mariachi or Machete, but Machete is obviously very late, a lot later. But anyways,
And he also made Desperado with Antonio Banderas before this.
oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, I didn't know that. But yeah, so like This is before Robert Rodriguez became Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the fact that this is a Robert Rodriguez movie feels so weird to know who he is now and to watch this movie and go, Robert Rodriguez?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and it does definitely have some of his like, you can feel it in there, like the moment. I can't remember when in the movie this happens, but it's after the old lady has fallen, they're like, oh, she was diagnosed, blah blah blah. Does the whole thing where it's like she's very sick. Do we have your discretion? And he looks up and goes, ding ding ding, and it like triple edits in with the music, and you're like, oh my god,
the craziest edit out of nowhere for no reason,
and yet it made an impact. It made me think about it.
I was busting out laughing when it happened.
But I love a movie that is committed to just like schlock.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like this movie is so unashamed of being like, we're the movie with the like the burnout kid and the nerd whose parents don't understand him, and like I love that it's not ashamed of any of those things. It's like actively being a part of the genre it's in.
It's like, I mean, look, there are a lot of characters.
Yes.
And like, I don't know, why try to like make these characters like super, super, super deep when we don't have enough time?
Yeah.
So let's, give them some archetypes, make it, you know what I mean? But at the same time,
give them each an emotional thing. Like it's something we hook into.
For sure. Except for the cheerleader
Jordana Brewster's
wow
character.
She fucking sucks.
Yeah,
there's not a moment in this movie where I liked her.
I know she's not great. I don't understand that decision.
That decision for her to be the way she was, and then also for her to end up with a crazy.
Here's the thing about this movie. A lot of the themes and shit don't really work.
Yeah.
Like Zeke ending up on the football team doesn't really make a ton of sense to me.
Sense
like,
at all.
Like again, it's like, oh, he learned to be a part of a team. Is that but why the fucking football team?
Is he still fucking that teacher? Like,
yeah, that's a weird thing.
The ending of the movie is insane in the membrane.
Yeah. Like, look, in a way that it's like, at least they committed, right? Like, he's sitting there pulling his helmet off, smoking a cigarette. And he's like, get back on the field. And you're like, all right,
it's
okay.
like, wait, did the aliens win?
Yeah, it feels like it.
Make that. There is a ardent fan or fan base. I was going to say fan base, but then I was like, no, it's probably just one dude. And his name is Shane Stewart.
Yeah.
Who's like on the forums being like, no, dude, they're still in the aliens won.
Yeah.
Because they're all acting super fucking weird.
Yeah. That's so funny. I love that.
I mean, the fact that like Elijah Wood is still going to school and yet is like a weird hero.
Yeah.
But also like
people don't know.
But people don't believe. He's like a Harry Potter kind of thing where it's like he ended the thing and some people like actually believe him, but a bunch of people don't. And he's like taking interviews on campus. Yeah. Super weird.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's a weird ending, but I'm
into it.
Like
right?
I didn't hate it.
Well,
except for the fact that they ended up together. Bad. I hated that.
Yeah, that's not great.
Doesn't make any sense.
Other question: Did you see the fact that Elijah Wood's character became like the ultimate hero over Josh Hartnett? Was that like obvious to you?
Obvious is not the word I would say, because like we follow him more than anyone else.
I think the movie does a great job of divvying up who we're following. Now, it does focus heavily on the jock football player, Josh Hartnett, and Casey, because usually the rest of the gang is revolving around them. You know what I mean?
But when it comes to like the storyline of aliens have taken over the town,
so
that's Elijah Wood's
we spend a lot
Casey's
of time
story.
with him. Yeah.
So it's like from that perspective, it doesn't like surprise me. Like by the end when they're like running through the school and stuff, I really did think Josh Hartnett was going to take center stage, and then the fact that it was Elijah Wood who actually did the final stabbing,
which by the way, I one of those ideas, they leaned back and were like, oh shit, what if we had the bleachers close?
Good.
Great. It's a great idea. Yeah. And the practical effect on the monster, like whipping its head.
Stabbing it in the eye and
then so terrifying.
And then it cuts and then it good shit.
Good shit.
That was good. And like the design of the monster super gross and great.
Yeah,
like,
and how it changes a little bit too, which is fun. Like
the biology makes literally zero sense.
No, none at all.
But the design is really dope.
But you know what? Like, it's one of those things like,
I don't
who
care.
gives a fuck,
it's like
right?
it's such a nothing problem.
Barry Sonnenfeld. This is just a weird aside. I'm reading one of Barry Sonnenfeld's books right now.
One of?
He's written a couple memoirs.
Oh, I didn't know.
It's Best Possible Place, Worst Possible Time is the one I'm reading, and he talks about when they were designing stuff for Men in Black.
Uh-huh.
And after the first one, he's like, I want to do something that doesn't have the biases of our species. Like, why does it have to have an eyes? Why does it have to have a nose? Why does it have to? He's like, go make me something that is completely unrelated to anything humans, like just abstraction. And he comes back with these designs, and he's like, well, here's the thing. How are we going to know where it's looking if it doesn't? And the guy's like, so you want to give it eyes? And he's like, yeah, let's give it eyes. And then here's the problem. Like, if it doesn't have a mouth,
yeah,
how are we gonna know if it's talking or thinking? He's like, so you want to give it a mouth? He's like, yeah, we better give it a mouth. And then it just roundabout. He's like, well, how are we gonna have him do any action if he doesn't have appendages?
Yeah.
And it's like, so you want to give him arms? Yeah, I think we better. Right? Just roundabout. Like, you have this crazy idea, and then there's the practicality element.
Yeah.
Because at least I like this idea. I like this idea in horror movies because it scares me. This hive mind kind of thing. It's like freaky to me.
Yeah.
It's a very scary.
It's almost like the world we live in now.
Thanks for bringing that up. But yeah, it's a scary idea, and so just it being like a fish monster that like brutally buries into you is cool and like violatory.
Gross,
and I love that shot where she like holds her hand up to the fish tank and it's like tendrils make her hand. It's like, that's fun.
Yeah.
I'm into that shit. I like it.
Yeah.
Good fucking movie, man.
Good. Yeah, like it was funny because I was like, oh, I super want to watch that movie. And when we sat down to watch it, I was like, I know literally nothing about this movie. And you were like, wait, really?
Yeah, I was like, I thought I'd told you.
And then, and you may have, and then I forgot it because my brain doesn't work. And like, I was like, wait, what was the thing that I asked? I don't even remember what I thought it was before the movie. Where I was like, wait, is it like a ghost thing?
Yeah.
And you were like, it is not.
It is not a ghost
thing. I don't know a
thing.
single fucking thing about this movie.
I would watch a ghost possession high school movie like this if it was done in the style of the 90s.
I'm sure there is one, and it was just bad.
Yeah.
Like it was
because it didn't have Robert Rodriguez directing it and Kevin Williamson writing it.
Yeah. And Elijah Wood.
I miss the 90s so much. I was like a baby in the 90s. I miss 90s cinema so much, I should say. Like, we're at this point where like that's the throwback movies, like Y2K, DD. Well, DD's like early 2000s, but we're starting to jump mid 90s. We're starting to jump back to these like 90s nostalgia movies, and you're like, how about we go back to like the filmmaking of the 90s? Because I miss Speed and all these like hyper committed cool shit movies, like
super sincere action movies, like just like action thriller,
that had like a high concept kind of thing going for them, like
just thrillers.
Yeah,
like just a mid-budget thriller
and legal dramas. I want back more than
dramas,
anything,
man. We'll do Primal Fear soon.
I'm super into that.
That's a really good one.
I do know the twist of Primal Fear, but I know I still want to see it.
How did you find out about that?
Watch Mojo, I'm sure.
Fuck you, Watch Mojo, you fucking bitch.
Ruining everything for us, even though you give us spoiler warning.
I'm so mad.
I was very aware of movies as a kid, and I was like, I want to see them all. But then I would watch lists like that, and it would spoil shit.
Yeah, still a good movie.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a great movie. Weird.
So mad now.
I
don't want to show you that movie.
Well, I'll watch it on my own. I'm sorry. Weird. The scene in the locker room where she's naked, and like the light is making her like tentacles. Did you like that? It's a weird choice.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like it could.
It
was very 90s CGI.
I like it conceptually.
Yeah,
but like, there's why
it just didn't look good.
Yeah,
it didn't like play well.
Like the thing
there is a version that is cool. There's a Bram Stoker's Dracula version of it that's dope.
Yeah,
but like the 90s CGI,
the grounded way that it's like, why didn't y'all do that in the pool house where like the water's rippling and reflecting on and then you make it look like it's her? Like, why didn't you do that?
Yeah,
instead of just this weird, she's just walking and her shadow's still on the ground, but then there's all these other ones.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's distracting to me.
There's a version of it that's cool, and it just wasn't this version at all.
The Bram Stoker's comparison, yes.
You know what I mean?
More movies need to do things like that movie.
Fucked up, weird, practical effect. Yeah. Like that's the thing. It was like what we're talking about. It's just like super sincere gonzo movies.
Yeah.
It's like we missed fucking Patrick H. Willems gonzo blockbusters.
Yeah.
It's like we need shit like that.
Yes, we do.
Or just sincere mid-budget thrillers, action movies.
Yeah.
Things like this. Like this movie was $15 million.
We need more $15 million movies.
Yeah.
Like 15 to 50, we need so many more. I can't handle it anymore. Like,
yeah, for real.
I don't know why people don't think they can market those to be successful. Like, what the fuck happened? I mean,
I don't know.
I want more superhero movies made for this budget. Because you can fucking do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just insane to me to make like every single one of those movies like $300 million. Like, of course you're losing money. Like, it's impossible. Anyway.
But one thing to love about this movie, it's like the right way to do it is to get a bunch of those guys. This movie is filled to the brim with that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's got Jon Stewart before he was Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
I mean, before, you know what I mean? Salma Hayek and McDonald. I told you I was going to forget his name. Christopher McDonald, like just out of nowhere.
I mean, Robert Patrick.
Robert freaking Patrick. Like Elijah Wood before he was Elijah Wood. Josh Hartnett before he was Josh Hartnett. Whatever Brewster before she was whatever Brewster. Yeah. Like, I mean, like Jordana Brewster. Such good casting. Like this movie is so well. The principal lady who's also in Jumanji. Like,
yep.
It's such good casting.
Yeah, dude.
It's like every movie has to have fucking Robert Downey Jr. in it.
Well, that's the thing with body switch movies and these like possession movies or body snatcher movies. You know what I mean? It's you have to have actors that are somewhat that we know from things. So when they're acting different, there's an immediate like connecting the dots. It's you can do it with complete unknowns. It's just a little bit harder to be like because it's a cheat code.
Yeah,
I know how Christopher McDonald. I know how Robert Patrick acts, especially because his performances are so polarly different. Like, I know that, and so I can do that leap of logic so much faster.
But even then, like even with actors that you wouldn't know, it's like it's just good setup and payoff.
No, but that's what I mean. That's what I mean with that guys. It's like, oh, that guy, I know him. And so then when he's doing this other kind of thing, it helps you track it. You're like, I don't know his name, but I've seen him in shit, and so I can track this really easily.
I will say that to your argument, the one person that I was like, who I thought was going to be a bigger deal than she was the teacher, the theater teacher lady.
Yeah,
because like they really give her a lot of screen time.
And she doesn't show up in the third act.
And then she just doesn't show up in the third act. And I'm like, or she does at the football game and then we never see her again. Yeah. And I'm just like, I thought she was going to be the bad guy. Yeah. I thought she was the monster.
Oh, so the blonde lady being the that took you by surprise?
I didn't care for that all that much.
Really?
Yeah.
It's fine. They needed like a plot. You know what I mean? Like they needed some like monologue kind of thing in the end. Like it serves the plot fine.
Yeah.
The thing I dislike is they cheat where like in the scene they show her like snorting it and the cap isn't popped off. And then in the flashback they show the whole, it's like, no, it's in frame. Like you can see that it's just different. So you just lied to us.
Yeah.
In a scene that's actually kind of smart in how it handles that timing. Like, that's well played, but doesn't work because they lied.
And then just like the pay, I don't know, just the payoff just didn't like.
I have no defense of it whatsoever.
Yeah, but like again, like I like so much of everything else, and then like I like that actress's performance of it. Like all that stuff works.
I like that it's one of the group. Yeah, like that to me is fun because that's a good little twist. Yeah. Like, do you see it coming a little? But you could also perfectly see the plot going the other way too. Yeah. It just is how they handle the switch and a lot of that shit where it's just not as
like,
good.
The outsider is the one. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, oh, okay. Like, all right. Like,
why wasn't it Elijah Wood or
it just
some shit?
It just feels like the most obvious answer.
Yes.
And then it just was the answer.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, oh, wait, shit, is it the fucking theater teacher?
Yeah.
Because, again, they give her a lot of screen time really early. Elijah Wood's walking through or whatever, and she's like making eyes at him and like, right at her. I'm just like, all right, like we're really set. We're really, and she has the moment where she kills the principal. You know what I mean? So I was like, I really thought they were going to do something with her, and then they just.
And Salma Hayek isn't in this a ton either. Like, you see her a couple times after her like turning
Is this
scene.
Before Salma Hayek was Salma Hayek?
I think so. A little bit.
I think it had to have been
before she blew up. I mean, she was in From Dusk Till Dawn, right?
Yeah,
and like a super infamous. I mean, it's famous for weird reasons.
I forgot about that.
She's like the vampire in it.
Yeah, and then like I think this was before like Frida, which Frida,
Yeah.
But that made, I mean, like that was a very popular movie for her. Sorry, just random tangent. That was,
Yeah.
But yeah, like the casting in this movie is phenomenal. I love all of that, guys.
Yeah.
Good shit.
It's just a good, and it's well made. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
well directed and well,
Yeah.
like the thing that
With the funky, weird charm.
yeah, like and also just to give Robert Rodriguez his props, he handles a giant cast so well.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't feel like anyone gets truly shorted in big ways. Like everyone feels like they play their part for the most part.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like
you're right.
obviously-
There's the theater teacher that like they set up and don't really use as much,
And
but
then
like
Usher is on screen for 2 seconds.
yeah. Well, and then the cross-cutting all works really. Like it's
Yeah.
edited very well. Where I never feel like I'm spending too much time on one thing before I need to. Like
agree.
it's a really well-crafted, fundamental filmmaking kind of movie that I really
Yeah.
like. With you're exactly right with the weird charm that he randomly throws him. Where he's like, I just want to try this. Can I try this?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's go. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the needle drops. The
Yeah,
needle
yeah.
drops in this movie fucking rip.
Yeah.
Fucking garbage. Fucking Creed.
Yeah.
The Offspring just have to. It's a movie from the 90s. We have to have
You
The
have to do it.
Offspring. Yeah, like just some good.
And it's been a while since we've had a movie that's just fucking horny, and we should bring back horny
Dude,
cinema.
We literally, I don't know if we talked about this on pod or not on pod, but I rewatched the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and I just miss unambiguously horny
Yeah.
movies. Like,
Just bring me back. You
yeah,
know?
like and look,
I'm rewatching Smallville, right? Or not rewatch. I'm watching Smallville for the first time.
Yeah.
It's so horny.
look, we've had Anyone But You.
Yeah.
The Hitman.
Hitman, yeah.
Not the Hitman.
Just Hitman.
Hitman. Like we've had some unambiguously horny movies, but they're all with what's his name?
Glenn Powell.
They're all with Glenn Powell, and it's just
Yeah.
because we're universally horny for him. It's like I don't, you know what I mean? Like
I heard a story about him once where anytime he goes out to eat, and he's like, he gets his water, they put his water, and he goes, looks him dead, and he goes, thank you. Like he just makes eye contact, and I was like, "What a funny, weird, quirky thing for people to have noticed and talked about." Which, like, I love that. I love that he's not being a dick. He's just like, "Thank you," and you're like, "Glenn, don't look at me like that."
got me kicking my feet.
Yeah.
Got me twirling my hair. Also, drugs are cool.
Also, drugs are cool.
Like the fact that this movie is like, no. Like drugs are cool.
Drugs
though.
save the day.
Is that not really funny?
It's
that,
so
like,
funny.
That like it's like no.
and truly the most like 90s counterculture thing.
Hell,
like, yeah.
yes, like it, yes, very much so. Yes,
It's I had not even put that together, and you're completely right. That's
like,
so funny.
At the peak of Dare and
Yeah.
all that kind of shit, and like very like the war on drugs.
Yeah.
And this movie's like, what if drugs were the answer?
What if drugs saved the day?
Yeah. And like I love like the thing is like not a body snatcher but a body snatcher movie.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it is not a body snatcher in the classical sense, but it's a body snatcher in a less classical sense, I guess.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that it borrows like the blood scene with like, hey, instead of like testing your blood, take these drugs.
Yes. Do this drug right now.
I love the high intensity of like if you take the like Elijah Wood's giggling in the corner
Yeah.
and like laughing while like a gun is being held to somebody's
Yeah.
head. It's like really fun, good. Like that's the good Kevin Williams shit.
Schlock.
That's good Kevin
Yeah.
Williamson shit. So that I really liked that a lot.
Totally agree. It's this movie just honestly. Sometimes a movie just rips, which I think is like your Letterboxd review. Like,
Yeah.
Sometimes a movie just kind of rules.
Sometimes
Like,
the movie just rips, man.
it's a good time. I'm glad you like this one because sometimes when I show these like kind of weirder horror-esque
Yeah.
ones, I never know how people will take them because like
Yeah.
I enjoy them because I like movies that are just kind of fun, you know.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad you enjoyed this one. I'm sure.
This like is right up my alley of just like sincere gonzo, just
Yeah.
sincere gonzo shit. Where it's like we have gonzo blockbusters that are like not sincere at
Yes.
all, and then you get movies like this that are just like, nah, this movie is fucking Shakespeare,
Yeah.
and everybody thinks it's
And
Shakespeare.
everyone's fucking commit to the bit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like just commit to the thing you're doing. Like I don't know.
really think and like I like Ryan Reynolds, but like the Ryan Reynolds, The Rock, like
kind of smarmy or like I'm larger than life
smirking.
Like,
everything is a smirk.
Yeah.
Everything is a joke. Everything is apathy. It's like, no. These people fucking care.
it's cool to care about shit.
It's like the reason that like Scream is a very funny movie, but not for the same reasons that like Deadpool and Wolverine is funny.
They're not jokes. There's not gags.
No.
It's just funny because of the situation.
Yes.
Like, it's funny because we're seeing Ghostface get kicked because they're trying to fight for their life and he flops or they're
Yeah.
throwing beers at him. It's like,
Right.
it's like, no, that is not like a joke, but
No.
it is funny.
Yes.
Versus Deadpool and Wolverine being the just,
And I'm not talking shit about Deadpool and Wolverine. I like the movie just fine.
yeah.
But like I really think that is like a plague
Yes.
in modern like action comedy.
What's like the last
thriller,
real sincere one we got? I'm like genuinely having a hard
like
time.
action comedy?
Yeah, like just like a genuine across because
Or
like
just action movie? Like,
yeah, either or. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a while since we've had one that just kind of is.
we could find examples.
Yes,
for
of course,
sure.
but like you're right. The '90s was so about that, where it's just
Yeah.
earnest.
Yeah, like Speed, they are taking this shit seriously.
Yeah.
It's kind of a silly concept.
Yeah.
But like, man, everybody in this thing is taking it super fucking heart attack serious.
yes,
And I love that. Like, I wish more movies would have the courage
Yep.
to just take it seriously. You know what I mean? Like, fucking Avatar is sincere as shit.
yes,
You know what I mean? Like and look, I am not the patron saint of loving the Avatar movies, but they're fucking sincere.
Yeah.
Like I really do pride sincerity. Like if you take it seriously while still allowing for jokes, like it'll just make it better. It's
a great lesson.
Yeah, that'll be my lesson.
That's the lesson.
Fucking sincerity, baby.
No, but I love everything you're saying. It's
Yeah.
like it becomes funny because it's genuine. Like it's not hard. It's like really easy to do those things where it's just like a character says something because that character is funny. Just like if a character is the straight man, often the straight man gets the most laughs.
Yeah.
Because you know what I mean? Because they're playing to the character.
There's contrast.
Yes, it's like
there's
you have
contrast.
to have both or it doesn't work.
So what the real issue is the fact that color grading is dead.
Yeah.
There's no contrast.
Yeah.
We need more.
It all
vibrant.
comes back to this.
Dude, it's weird.
It is
'Cause
weird.
It's true.
It is
It's
weird.
The contrast. It's like it's seriously
Yeah.
the contrast. It's like when everything is a joke, when everything is a smirking, like we
Yeah.
I get it. You know, it's like I understood that reference.
Yeah.
Like when everything is that, like nothing is fun.
That's what made look, just take the Marvel movies. Like the fun part about some of those early ones is like Captain America was so genuine. Like
Wow, yeah, Captain America, the first Avenger.
Yeah.
Man, that movie is fucking sincere.
and I like that movie way more than a lot of people.
Yeah,
like,
no,
it's
I really like that
like
movie.
this thing is it's imperfect, but at least it took massive swings. Like
it's movies. It's like at the time people were like judgmental about it,
yeah,
and like man, time has made that movie look better and better and better.
Genuinely,
and better. All of them. All like honestly, I bet you could watch Iron Man 2 and be like, this is better than people gave it credit.
yes, you could. I've done it.
Thor: The Dark World. You'd be like, look, this movie's not good, but it's better than people.
But
The
goddamn
movie
it,
fucking looks good.
I was about to say it looks genuinely kind of fantastic.
That shot on fucking film.
Yeah.
I think actually, I'm not sure.
I think that one. I think you and I talked about
that
this
the
one.
last one?
I think we recently talked about this on the podcast. I think it is shot on film. Yeah.
Anyway,
Good shit. Anyway, I loved your lesson.
sincerity, contrast.
Yeah. My lesson still just how to juggle a big cast.
Yeah.
Like how to juggle a big cast where characters are playing like two different versions of themselves.
Yeah.
Like it's just all of that shit's handled really well. So
Yeah.
it's a weird one to go study that in, but like do it because it's also a big movie. Like you can do this with little movies like dramas all the time, but it's such a big one. It's nice to see it done like that. Like I think that's a good example.
I think it's a really good example of playing with archetypes.
Oh
Like
yes,
playing with cliche.
Yes. Yep.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, look, they are cliche, they are archetypes, but like it gives you that one layer deeper.
Yeah.
That's just enough to make them interesting, and so you like get who they are.
Yeah.
Really quickly. And then, when they start to change, it becomes really obvious.
Yeah.
Except for Jordana Brewster's character, she sucked when she was, she sucked when before, and then she sucked when she died.
Yeah, truly. And then maybe she changed after. I don't know.
Yeah, and then she was nice. Like, so when was she? It's like some of those kinds of things about the movie that are like, if you think about it for too long.
Yeah,
when
like, did she get taken?
When
like,
did she get taken?
Because we watch it happen in real time, and you're like, well, okay.
Yeah.
Like, she has that line, she's like, I don't know what's happening to me, and you're like, feels like you do. Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
When did she get taken?
I don't know.
That's the moral of the story. That's my lesson.
When did she get taken?
When did she get taken? B segment?
B segment.
This is a game we've played many times.
Okay.
It's a game I like very much. It's the review game.
Okay,
I'm going to give you 2 reviews.
Okay.
And you have to tell me. I'll give you the first review.
From Letterboxd or Rotten Tomatoes?
From Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
I should start doing Letterboxd because I hate Rotten Tomatoes. I think but the reason I use Rotten Tomatoes is I can find time appropriate reviews.
Yeah.
So it's not like reviews from today. It's reviews from movies from people who are watching movies
totally.
at the time. But at the same time, I think it is a flawed system. So I'll give you a review. If you can't guess what the movie is, I'll give you the next review. All of these are in some way related to The Faculty or like Body Snatcher movies.
Okay, and I've seen all the movies or no?
I don't think you've seen all of them.
Okay.
But like...
we'll get close enough.
I really don't think there's anything in here that's like a super curveball, except for one. And I was telling the audience before you got here, like, if there's... I don't know anything about this movie, but it got put on this list of similar related movies, and I was like, I didn't know that's what that movie was.
Yeah. Well,
so if I'm wrong about this, my bad.
Blame the internet.
Blame the fucking internet. Anyways, here we go. Here's the first review. This is a cautionary tale about the loss of one's identity and emotion. On the surface, it's an interesting film that explores the xenophobic nature of human beings and their desire for uniqueness.
Is it just Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the original?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is the 1956 original. Yeah. I was like, okay, which one?
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Because that we might have more in the future. Yeah. The second review is a superbly crafted film by an innovative director. This low-budget science fiction tale became one of the great classics of the genre.
Is it The Faculty?
That's the same one.
Oh,
that was
same
the same
next movie. Okay.
I was just giving you the next
cult classic. Interesting. I
Yeah.
guess yes,
right?
but I hadn't thought about it as that before.
Yeah.
But makes sense.
Here's the next movie. The end result is a bit messy, but hugely enjoyable, and often as striking visually as its predecessors.
Is that The Faculty?
No.
Predecessors, plural. Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, is it? I don't know. The Body Snatcher?
No.
Have I seen it?
Yes, you have.
Oh shit! Really? Okay. Mm-hmm. What's the next review?
It's a shame this movie's legacy was killed by having the iconic name attached. While the slasher icon is nowhere to be found, what you do have is one of the most unique and creative horror flicks of the 80s. This is a twisted and campy classic for October.
Is it The Thing? Like
Nope.
what? Body Snatcher related crap. I don't.
This is the one where I'm like, I haven't seen this movie.
It's not The Blob, is it?
No.
Okay, what? I don't know it.
It's Halloween 3.
Calling that a Body Snatcher movie doesn't.
Okay, I wasn't 100% sure.
Like, I understand where that's coming from. A little, like a little bit, but that's not my recollection of that. I've seen it once, like a year and a half ago.
Okay, so we'll call this one. We'll put a huge asterisk.
I'm questioning the validity of that being a Body Snatcher movie.
Right, and I thought as much, but I was like, this is a fun curveball.
Yeah,
that's my curveball.
Okay.
The rest of them are related much more closely. A bit too heavy on the shock effects, but far scarier than most average horror films.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers 70?
Nope.
The Thing?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. A bit too. Fuck you.
Here's the second review, and it's from Roger Ebert.
Oh no.
I think I did this one for this movie before, but it's still crazy to me. Because this material has been done before and better, especially in the original The Thing and others, there's no need to see this version. Damn, Roger.
Is he talking about the new one?
He's talking about the original or he's talking about the John Carpenter's.
That's not a good take. Now, mind you, look, that movie bombed when it came out.
Yeah.
It was like not a success, but still bad take.
Bad take.
That
right?
movie's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's easy to look at it through 2024 goggles and rose tinted glass, but at the same time, it's still the movie fucking rips. If you didn't like it at the time, you're wrong. It is like Barbarian and movies like that, where it's like that movie is so much better than people gave it credit.
Yeah.
Barbarian. That's a fucking like, no, people don't like it, but they're wrong.
Yeah.
And like, it isn't perfect, but that movie like is rules. Anyways,
Takes all the swings in the world.
do I need to blow my nose? My nose itches.
My bad.
Yeah, you gave me the.
I gave you the ick.
You gave me the woke mind virus.
Oh my god, I'm cutting that. Fuck you, Elon.
Here's the next movie. The assumption that there's something inherently clever about a genre movie making reference to both its genre and the filmmaking process is a fundamental flaw of this tiresome, blood-filled comedy.
Oh wait, is it? It's not The Faculty.
No.
Can you read it one more time?
Guess.
I'm genuinely blanking. You're talking about the filmmaking process, and I'm like, what movie has a...
The assumption that there's something inherently clever about a genre movie making reference to both its genre and the filmmaking process is a fundamental flaw of this tiresome, blood-filled comedy.
This is embarrassing that I don't know this.
You know this.
What's the second review?
Not even horror fans who can answer all this film's knowing trivia questions may be fully comfortable with such an exploitative film.
It's a body snatcher thing?
No.
Oh, is it Scream?
Yeah, it's Scream.
Okay, I was like, I had that thought. I was like, wait.
That I put Scream in this because
Fuck you.
It's a Kevin Williamson joint.
Fair to be on the list, but damn it.
I did set it up as these are all going to be body snatcher related, so that's my bad.
I was sitting there like, is there a filmmaking-esque body snatcher one?
All of the rest of
Okay.
Okay. Again, another asterisk on that one, I guess. It's interesting to observe how the filmmakers contrive to exploit and refine elements from the other versions in this one. An unusually imaginative and adroit, but also self-conscious remake.
It doesn't sound like a description of 78, but is it the 78?
It is the 78.
Interesting.
Isn't that wild? Like, self-conscious.
I would not call that movie self-conscious. Like,
not at all.
What a weird...
Do you want the second review?
Yeah.
The director transforms this story from an effective remake of a paranoid 50s sci-fi tale into an intertextual narrative and film watching experience. That's the same.
Yeah.
Here's the next one. Some of this is fun in a low-grade Hellraiser sort of way, but it reduces the script's mildest ambitions to hamburger. In this movie, it's the filmmaker's talent that turns into a pod itself. Into a pod of itself.
Oh my god. Have I seen this one?
Yeah.
Is it Body Snatcher?
No.
Is it The Faculty?
It's The Faculty.
I was like, that's
what the fuck?
I don't love that review.
This is the second review for The Faculty. Since the codes of science fiction are different from horror's cant, the patented method doesn't make a perfect fit with the material. This movie is fun, but less fun than it could be. I think that movie is like not entirely wrong.
Mm-mm.
I think it's mostly pretty accurate. I think the movie's more fun than they're giving it credit, but
yeah.
I kind of agree. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
a passive agree.
Yeah, you know, it's like soft agree. Here's the next one. As sheer movie making, it's a skill. It is skilled and knowing, and deserves the highest praise you can give a horror film. It works. Another Roger Ebert joint, by the way.
That could describe any horror movie.
Yeah,
what's
really
the second
super
review?
general.
What's the second review?
I just really like picking on Roger Ebert on this. This incarnation of the classic story is not the most recent, but it's the most resonant in a contemporary sense. A perfect paranoid counterpart to its predecessors, unfused and deeply unsettling. A perfectly paranoid counterpart to its predecessors, infused with deeply unsettling reminders of loss.
Oh, fascinating. I've seen it.
I'm not 100% sure.
Because the only thing that
it's related.
Is it the Invasion?
No,
it's not the Daniel Craig. It's Body Snatcher.
It's Body Snatcher.
Okay, that's both of those are interesting to like because I'm trying to think if that one is like a description of loss. Is where I'm like, I don't know how much.
Have you seen Body Snatcher?
I have seen Body Snatcher. Okay. Body Snatcher is cool because it's this concept but told just on a military base, and so it's like really contained in a very interesting like security kind of way. Like, and it
actually kind of cool.
It's a cool movie. I need to rewatch it.
Yeah.
The reason there was one earlier where like the ending doesn't quite where I was like, because that was my thing with that one, where the ending is like a little weird. But the Body Snatchers is a pretty cool movie.
Gotcha.
I really want to see Invasion, because it's funny to me that there's Invasion of the Body Snatchers, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, Body Snatchers, the Invasion.
Yeah.
Where you're like, okay.
And there's another one too.
And there's is there another one?
Not on this list.
Oh, okay.
But there is none.
I know there's another one called like Assimilate or something like that from like 2019.
From 2007, there's Invasion of the Pod People. I couldn't find reviews for that one. There were no reviews for that one.
Fantastic.
But it did come out in 2007.
Fantastic. Okay.
That might be a TV movie. I'm not sure.
Hold on, we're fucking checking the Letterboxd total.
I was so confused. I was like, oh, like perfect. I went to Invasion of the Body Snatchers 1956 or 58. 56? 58? 57? Whatever. I went to that one, to that Wikipedia page, and found like other movies in the genre or whatever, and it mentioned Invasion of the Pod People.
314 people have logged this.
God, okay.
It's like a no. Oh my God.
All right, well there you go. Are there any reviews? I could have pulled.
There are 46 reviews.
We've got one more movie to do. Given its shiny surface, nouveau chic grittiness, and button-pushing sentimentality, this version feels as if it were made by the kind of beings the other movies warned us against. I love these shitty reviews. Like the ones that are mean, they're really funny.
Invasion? I mean, it's the only other one I know of.
It's the Invasion.
That one is Daniel Craig.
Here's the very last review for the Invasion. There have been other remakes of this story that tapped into the original's fear and dread of a society subverted by the others. This one taps only into that part of the brain that shuts down when confronted with witless tedium. Woof! Man, these fucking critics are on the typewriter. Like
writing with a flaming pen.
Literally.
That's so funny.
Anyways, so yeah. You did really well, except for my awful twists and turns.
I want to rewatch Halloween 3 now and just be like, did I remember that wrong? I had a funny experience about that. I was talking about the movie Tully, and Kylie was like, oh yeah, it's this movie about this, and she explains it, and I just went, Kylie, I think you're missing one really big part of how that movie ends. And she's like, what? And I was like, yeah. So it ends this way. And she's like, what? And I was like, no, I'm right. Like, I mean,
it's like you and I have completely different thoughts on how the movie Skinamarink ends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I super want to watch Skinamarink again. Like, I don't, but I do.
Good luck.
A creator on TikTok that I really like, I can't remember his name. I might find it. I'll let you do your recommendations, and then I'll recommend him as as one of my recommendations. He did a video about Skinamarink, and I'm like, I actually can't remember what the video. I think it was about Skinamarink. No, it was about Skinamarink, and I was like, that movie was like. And I rarely comment on videos, but I wanted to talk about my experience, because he was talking about like why the movie works and why it's cool, and I was like, that movie was one of the worst movie-going experiences of my entire life, and I have not stopped thinking about it since. Like there's so much that works for me for that movie, and I hated it.
Yeah.
It's maybe I just need to watch it on a screen that isn't going to make my ears bleed, so I can get it out of my system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then never watch it again. Or it could just be one of my fucking favorites. I don't know.
Yeah. It's weird.
It's so weird.
Fucking weird.
Yeah.
Good times.
Anyways.
Recommendations.
Yeah, give me your recommendation, and I'll try to find the video, the creator.
I think a whole slew of these Body Snatcher movies, they're all a little different and a little like cool in different ways and don't work in others. So like, rewatch The Faculty. Hopefully you've watched it before listening to all this, but watch The Faculty, watch both Invasions of the Body Snatchers, watch Body Snatchers. Like, these movies are cool and weird and filled with fun shit. I just finished Creature Commandos.
Hell yeah.
It stuck the landing for me. It's really rad. I am super excited about season 2 of that. I just watched a movie called Werewolves Within, which was really fun.
Hell yeah.
Not a body snatcher movie, but a fun little like paranoia kind of contained thriller that I enjoyed. What else have I watched? Nosferatu I already recommended, but I'm going to recommend it again. I saw Mad Max Fury Road in a theater, and it's like a life-altering experience to see that movie in a movie theater. So do that. Ethel Cain just put out a new album.
I haven't listened to it yet.
It's so much fucking... Talk about Skinamarink. That's Skinamarink, the album.
Oh, yeah. Megan was telling me that somebody described it as like, it's not really like a vocal album. It's more like a instrumental, like the orchestra, the like score to a horror movie than it is like a album.
Correct.
Which is dope.
No, it's super cool. It's weird. I need to like listen to it because a lot of it is just tonal. Like there was a part where I took out the earbud and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I want to bleed out to that album on a lonely, snow-dusted bench, quietly at 4 a.m. I want to be. That's what I want to be listening to when I bleed out.
Yeah.
Have you seen that meme? People will post a picture of like it's a walkway by the sea, snow covered, lit by lamp in the middle of the night, peaceful, no one around, no snow disturbed, and people kept commenting like, I want to bleed out here, and then somebody was finally like, explain to me why you want to bleed out here, like please. And I was like, no, I get it, I understand it.
That's
and then
really
that Ethel Perverts is the name of the album.
Hell yeah.
I want to bleed out to Perverts.
Man, the visuals that Ethel Cain was putting out in like for the record, like on like Instagram and stuff to like promote it, wild.
Yeah. I love Ethel Cain's last album, so it was like hard to live up to that for me. And so like I
love a fucking like I'm not gonna make the same album again.
Oh no. Don't get me wrong.
Her previous music was also very different from
Preacher's Daughter.
Preacher's Daughter, thank you. And was also very different from that.
No.
So it's like I love a person who does different shit.
Totally into that. I love her other albums too. She's such a strong vocalist. It was like an interesting choice to do it this way. But don't get me wrong, like it's one that I've been thinking about quite a bit.
Yeah. And you still got Preacher's Daughter.
And I still got Preacher's Daughter.
And her previous stuff, which is like different, but like a little bit more like electronic and stuff.
The one before that, I wrote a lot of a script to Preacher's Daughter, and that one kind of back to back. Like one would end and I'd play the other, and then I'd go back, and then
You'll love to hear it.
It's good shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's
Patty O'Wagon. I'm pretty sure he's got a YouTube channel that he just started, with all the TikTok shit. But go follow him on TikTok while you have the chance, because I really, if you still have the chance.
Anyway,
but Patty O'Wagon, he has done a few series on Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit movies. I love all of those videos. All of his videos. I love all of his videos. He does sounds from specific things that he loves. So like, what are my favorite orc noises in the Lord of the Rings franchises, which is just great.
That's great.
But one that I really like that he's been doing for out of nowhere, like my interest in rewatching Lord of the Rings happened at the exact time he started making these videos, and then also happened to align with him starting a series about comparing the Hobbit book to the Hobbit movies to the Hobbit animated series or movie. I can't remember which one it is. And it's like which one handled the source material the best and which one he likes the best.
Yeah.
And kind of like giving them each points. The points are like meaningless, but it is interesting to see like, I like the way they did this. I like the way this was done. And I don't, in the original book, I don't love the way that was handled, but I really like how it was handled in this and that. Whatever. Really cool series. Really, really interesting. Like, and he's taking his time with it in a way that I really appreciate. So, Patty O'Wagon. That's recommendation number one. My other recommendation is the movie Surf's Up.
Yeah.
I've been having a tough time. And
Surf's Up.
And that movie is just a fucking cold glass of water. It's just a cold glass of water on a hot day. It's a warm, hot chocolate on a cold one.
Yep.
I love that movie with every fiber of me being. Is it great? I don't know. But it's super fun.
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf, boo.
Yeah.
But like everybody else in the cast fucking rips. Like, and it's not like Shia LaBeouf is bad. He just sucks as a human.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Surf's Up. I love that movie.
Yeah,
man. Like
I need to rewatch it.
Cold glass of water on a hot day, warm cup of hot chocolate on a cold day, baby.
Good shit. All right, man. Well, we got a lot of stuff to watch. You guys need to do your Body Snatcher homework, and you need to listen to some music, and you need to watch some YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And then go surfing is what I'm gathering from this. So you guys should all go and do those things.
Yeah.
Or don't. I don't know. Live your life.